Follow the conversation. This is Afternoons on the Dove.
Good afternoon and welcome to Afternoons on the Dove. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. It is Friday, and that's the day that we bring in the super nursery man, Mr. Tim Elbert, better known as the Timinator. He heads up the Four Seasons Nursery, and for the next 45 minutes or so, he's here to take your calls. And everybody that calls in is going to get an extreme home makeover done by Tim. Is that right?
Well,
just kidding. Just kidding.
Yard maybe, but
anyway, we're going into a great weekend. And of course, the weather's changing, the temperature changing. You may have some questions about what's going on in your yard, or maybe what's not going on in your yard. We want you to be have an advantage by having Tim here and ask any question you may have. Here's the number, 776-5368. So if you're watching on the Dove TV right now or listening on the Dove radio, join the conversation. Are we giving this away?
we are, yes.
What is this thing?
It's a house plant, actually. It's a tropical plant. It's called a bromeliad. And they are kind of very interesting, very interesting, actually. Little house plant, fun to grow and provide a lot of color.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, they are related somewhat to things like orchids, etc. So,
almost doesn't look real.
Yeah, it's real.
All right, so when you call in today, your name's going to go in the hat, and we'll draw one name out. Who knows? You could win this.
Bromeliad.
Bromeliad.
Yes.
All right, and you'll be picking it up out there at the Four Seasons Nursery. Well, Tim, we probably never thought we'd see the different change of weather, but it's here.
It's here, yeah.
And the colors are beautiful. I love the fall.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So what should we be doing in the yard?
Well, getting prepared for fall, a few things that we want to do. First of all, watch those watering cycles. You've got probably your summer cycles still going, and you want to be cutting that back quite a bit. Even we got some cooler weather coming in this next week, and you may be able to shut it down even for a few days. And so you want to watch that. It's good to have some drier soil right now, because that's going to bring out some of those fall colors and help the other plants go into dormancy better.
All right.
So that's pretty important right there.
All right. Again, the phone number is 776-5368 if you want to join the conversation, and your name will go in the hat for this beautiful plant here. Hey, Ray, what's going on? You want to use bleach or vinegar instead of Roundup? Is that right? Oh, wait a minute. I got to push the button. Hold on. There we go. Hi, Ray. How you doing, bud?
Hey, Perry, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. You want to use bleach or vinegar instead of Roundup, huh?
Yeah. Can I do that?
Well, you not on the bleach, no. And on the vinegar, you've got to be really careful. Now, legally, you really can't use those products in any way other than what they're labeled for use as. So, that's definitely a big issue. That's why I say absolutely not on the bleach. You would cause some problems, and it's not environmentally safe to do that. Vinegar is used a lot in some of the natural herbicides, and so you can check that out and see, any of the vinegar-based herbicides can be used for control of weeds. But now here's the point with that. Vinegar is a topical kill. It kills only the tissues that it touches. So it's not going to get into the soil and kill the root systems. All it does is kill the top. It is fairly safe to use. Vinegar flushes nicely through the soil, but if you use a lot of it, it can cause some pH issues, and so you want to watch for that. But in most cases, should be fine.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Perry.
All right, thanks, Ray.
Alrighty.
Thanks for calling in. All right, the phone number is 776-5368. Tim Elbert here from the Four Seasons Nursery. Any questions about lawns, plants, flowers, fertilizing, cutting back, trimming, what you should be doing this time of the year, everything else? This is a great opportunity to take advantage of being with Tim here in the house. 776-5368, or if you're outside the immediate area, 1-800-373-5368. And your name will go in the hat for this beautiful plant. It's a
bromeliad.
Bromeliad. I want to call it an armadillo. It looks like what are those things you get at Christmas time? It's a bulb.
That's an amaryllis.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking.
That's like a lily. This is not. This is a little bit different from that. Interesting that these guys are grown naturally in tropical rainforest type climates. They grow on tree trunks and things, so they have a very small root system. They gather the moisture from the rain into the leaves, and so if you notice inside the leaves down inside, there's little pools of water, and that's how you water them, is through that. The foliage can last, the flowers can last for several months.
Really?
Yeah.
And that color, is that normally the color?
Yeah, they actually come in several different colors. Yeah, this one here probably will get a little bit larger, yeah. They don't get a lot bigger than that. The new ones will come on and produce new foliage, new flowers. Kind of a fun plant, a challenging plant, but it's actually easy to maintain.
All right, you can possibly win this bromeliad.
Yes.
Thank you, Steve. And by calling in, and your name will go in the hat, we'll draw one out coming up a little bit. All right, let's go back to the phones. Hi, Judy. You have a question about the pH in your soil.
I do. I'm wondering if there are testing kits or how you go about finding out what your pH is, especially for vegetables and what have you for next year.
Right. Okay. For vegetables and any area in your garden, if you want to test the pH, there are some kits that you can use. That's basically kind of a little pill that you mix with your soil, a little sample of your soil. Mix that with water, and it colors, and whatever color it changes, that's going to match up with whatever pH you have. Now, there's a couple of other things too. There's a kind of a meter that you can stick this probe into the ground, and it'll kind of give you a rough estimate. I find in both of those situations that it's not really very accurate, and probably the best way to do this, most accurate way, is to get a couple of samples, bring them into the nursery, and let us test it for you. There's no charge for testing. We can get an idea of what that pH is and tell you the best way to correct it if it needs correcting.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
I'll do it. Okay.
All righty.
All right, thanks, Judy. And by the way, the Four Seasons Nursery open 9 to 5, 8 days a week. And out there on not South Pacific Highway, Highway 62. There we go. Go on Highway 62, past Costco, get off on Vilas Road, hop over on the frontage road, and go up about a half mile. You can't miss it. It's beautiful there on the right. All right, let's go back to the phone. John, you have a question about blackberry removals.
Yes, indeed. I have a big patch of Himalaya blackberry, and it's grown on a hillside. Is this a good time to try and reduce it, try to eradicate it? I know it's going to have to probably take several steps to do, but what's the recommended way of dealing with that?
Yeah, it's a great time to try to get rid of it, because as the weather cools into fall, it's going to begin to start storing up a lot of energy down into its root system. And so those leaves are going to be drawing in stuff. So the best thing you can do right now, go through and cut it back as much as you can, as close to the ground as you can, and then spray with the Fertilome brush and stump killer. And yeah, and I like to mix that with a little surfactant, the high yield spreader sticker. That helps to stick it to to the branch and soak into the foliage. And that way you know it's getting inside there, and the plant will be drawing it into the root system, and you'll have your best control this time of year.
Okay, but how much regrowth should you let appear before you do the actual spraying?
As little as possible. As soon as you start to see some new growth appear, get that spray on there, because you really don't want it to push too much. It helps too, because you're actually using less chemical, so you're doing the same amount of damage using less chemical.
Okay, probably have to do that several times. Is there another time of year that you should do a follow-up? One
application this fall should do a considerable amount of damage. You may have some stuff pop up in spring, and that's when I would hit it again. It's not as ideal in the spring, but you don't want to just leave it sit there. So as soon as they start popping back up and the weather's starting to warm, definitely hit them up again.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks,
right.
John. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, 776-5368. Tim Elbert's here in the house taking your question. And your name will go in the hat for this beautiful Bromidella ad. It's bromeliad.
Bromeliad, yes.
Bromeliad.
Yeah. One thing I might add.
Ad.
From that last caller is that if you're going to be spraying blackberries or anything that has a berry or a fruit, be sure that you have cut back so that there is no more fruit on that before you spray. So you reduce the amount of chances of somebody getting a hold of some of that spray. A lot of these sprays are actually quite safe to use, but you really don't want to give that opportunity. So don't attack those blackberries with spray if they've got berries on them. Cut them down to get rid of that first. Also for the birds and wildlife as well. You just want to get rid of that before you make those spray applications. I think that's pretty important.
Anyway, any questions? Give us a call, 776-5368. You know, we had that moth wormy thing in the tree. What was it?
Yes, the webworms.
The webworms.
Yeah.
They pretty much died out?
Well, yes, I'm finding them in my bed with me.
Oh, that's not a good thing.
Yes, the other night I feel this crawling on my arm, and it was a webworm, and one of the dogs must have brought it in or something. But yeah, they're falling out of the trees, so enjoy this, folks.
So what do you do? Can you spray the ground where they're falling down?
You can, yes. Although if you're spraying just the ground, it's not going to do a bit of good. If they're falling on the ground and you can spray them, that's fine. But if you can smash them, that's even better. So, it may not be really,
Invite your neighbors over and have a stomping party.
Yeah, it's kind of like making wine.
All right, let's go to the phones. Hi, Elizabeth. What's going on with the mushrooms in your lawn?
Yes, I have a big front lawn, and right in the middle is the tree. On the right side of the tree, the grass is beautiful, gets a lot of sun. On the left side of the tree, it doesn't get as much sun. And 2 days ago, I woke up and it was almost covered completely in mushrooms.
Right.
So my neighbor tells me they are probably poisonous. My question is there a natural product that I can use to get rid of them, or do I need to buy something? Because I don't want the neighborhood kids getting at them.
Yeah, as far as getting rid of them, once you see them, there's really nothing you can kind of just spray on them to get rid of them. You can use a fungicide, but they're already going into the reproductive state, and that's what you're seeing is these big reproductive portions of that fungus. And so, what the absolute best thing to do is just to go out and smash them, and that'll get them down. But to keep them from coming back, generally in the lawn, if we're seeing mushrooms pop up in the lawn, it's because our pH is too low, and we need to sweeten that soil with a little bit of lime. So some dolomite lime, putting that down, watering it in, or put it down. We're supposed to get some rain. Put it down just before that rain comes. It'll be perfect timing, and that'll wash that into the lawn, and that will keep those fungal spores from doing any more damage.
You say it's dough-like lime? What is that?
Dolomite lime. And
dolomite lime.
Yeah, basically it's a powdered limestone, and then they take that powder, pelletize it so it's easy to put in your fertilizer spreader, and you can just spread that out. And once water hits it, they just kind of melt, and it's kind of white stuff, but it brings that pH back up. So
it's a product that I have to buy.
Yep.
There's nothing natural I can do with that.
Yeah. You really, it's the best way to go. It's a pretty inexpensive product. And we do carry it at the nursery.
Okay, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Elizabeth. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and if you have any questions for Tim, give us a call. The number is 776-5368, and this bromeliad is going to be possibly yours. We're going to put your name in that. Isn't that pretty? It really is beautiful. And is it going to get any bigger?
That one probably won't get much larger, but there are some that do.
Well, this bromeliad could be yours if you call in, get your name in the hat. 776-5368. Tim Elbert's here with us from Four Seasons Nursery. We'll be right back.
Follow the conversation. This is Afternoon on the Dove. Follow the conversation. This is Afternoon on the Dove.
And it's Friday, and that's when we bring Tim Elbert inside the studio here. He's from the Four Seasons Nursery, taking your questions about what you want happening in your yard. And so take advantage of him being here, whether you're watching right now on the Dove TV or if you're listening on the Dove Radio. Give us a call at 776-5368. We'll patch you in, and your name will go in the hat, and somebody coming up by the end of the hour is going to win this beautiful bromeliad. It's a beautiful flower and gorgeous color. I love that color. And you could be the winner. You never know. So 776-5368 if you have any questions about what's going on in the yard. You know, those of us who live on wells and our lawns dry up and our grass gets real hard. Could I do that aerating now? Would that be a good thing to do?
You know, maybe next week after the rain, that might be good, and the soil's a little softer.
Yeah, so it doesn't bounce off the top. No, but I mean, is fall a good time to do that?
Yes, fall is a good time for aerating, and you can aerate and thatch, or thatch, I should say. But getting it ready so that winter moisture can travel deeper down to the root system is a good thing. So fall is a great time for that.
What about just good old lawn fertilizing now?
It's a perfect time. This weekend would be a perfect time to get some lawn fertilizer down and some of the soil activator. The soil activator will help that lawn go through winter better. And the fertilizer, you know, if you haven't been fertilizing all summer, it's a good time to get that down. Rains will put that right down, activating it and getting it ready for that lawn. The lawn will take it up, and you'll have a beautiful lawn in a week.
All right. Now listen, 776-5368 is the number. Give us a buzz and ask Tim any question you may have about your yard work this weekend. This is going to be a changing fall weekend weather-wise with the change in the cooler temperatures and perhaps even some rain. So maybe you have some questions about moving trees, trimming plants, planting a lawn. Good time, isn't it?
Yes, great time for getting lawn seed down. So if you've got bare patches or you're putting in a new lawn, that's perfect timing for that. Yeah.
All right, 776-5368 is the number, 776-5368. And we have this beautiful bromeliad, and somebody's going to win that coming up in a little while. And I like that plant. So that's an indoor plant.
Yeah.
What kind of temperature?
You know, they like temperatures fairly warm. You know, when they're blooming, 50 to 70 degrees is fine. If you've got one that you're having a hard time getting to rebloom, or getting, if you've perhaps got a fresh start that came off and you're trying to get it to the point where it'll bloom, you've got to have some warm temperatures. They need up over 75 degrees to get them to actually produce bloom.
Right.
So, summertime's a good time for that. Right now, we just enjoy them.
Almost looks plastic.
Yeah, they're really neat.
The plastic plant's the only plant that Sue can grow. Whoa, I'm in trouble.
Uh-oh.
All right, let's go back to the phone. Hi, Sharon. What's going on with your bulbs?
Hi. First off, Tim, I have been dying to ask you to have a bulb class forever. You have to have a Saturday class on bulbs.
Oh, that's a good one. I will write down. I will take notes and make sure to do that. I don't have one scheduled for this fall, but definitely you're right. That's a good class to have.
Because there's so many. I mean, there's winter bulbs and summer bulbs.
Right. Yeah.
Look at that. All right, Sharon, I don't know if you're watching on TV right now, but I just wrote him a yellow note, and I'm going to stick it on his shirt, okay? It says bulbs. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So my question, I guess, the question I wanted to ask, like, at the beginning of the summer was, I had spring bulbs, winter bulbs. They came up in the spring.
Right.
And because most of everything I have, well, pretty much all my bulbs are in containers and such. I have a big galvanized tub, and everything I seemed to put in there were these spring bulbs. Well, then everything died off, and there was nothing in there to water over the summer. Well, did I just kill all my bulbs because I didn't give them water during the summer?
No, actually, the bulbs go dormant in the summer, and they like to be dry. So you did perfectly well by not watering them over the summer.
Okay, because then I had a spot that had bulbs, they died out, and because there was some little, I don't know the name of it, but it's a little carnation kind of stuff, I transplanted in there because it was just this empty bucket looking dead and dry like everything else, so I stuck it in there, watered that. Well, now I have some of those spring bulbs all coming back up again.
Yeah. Yep, that's the way it goes. They'll come up. It won't hurt them to come up. Just let them do their thing. It's not going to hurt them a bit. Probably that plant is a dianthus. They're kind of like a carnation, same family. by giving them that water after having a long period of time of dry, they're thinking, oh, it's fall, it's winter, it's time to start going again. And the cold temperatures will slow them down. They'll just kind of stop and wait. And then when warm temperatures come back, they'll continue to grow and eventually produce you some flowers. But not going to hurt them to pop out of the ground right now.
Okay. But now I need to get more bulbs in the ground for spring.
Yeah, October is a great time for that.
Good. Okay. And I have a really unusual plant that I bought, and it's an annual, and I don't usually buy annuals because they don't come back.
Right.
But I couldn't help this thing when I saw it. It's I don't know the name of it because the tag disappeared. And it grows really tall, and it has all this pink fluffy stuff at the top, and it stays in bloom the whole time. I found that it started putting off these little seed pods.
Okay.
And as this thing grew up, the little seed pods started drying up, and I was like, oh, so I collected them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and now it's putting off more seed pods as it's grown taller again. If it's considered an annual, is that because the root system dies out and you have to reseed it?
Yes, an annual, the entire plant dies after it's done with its bloom cycle. So, so this winter that will die, and you can actually replant those seeds in spring after danger of frost and have some fresh new plants.
Right, because that was my question, because I know some seeds, it says they need to freeze first. So obviously there's seeds that fall to the ground, and then they come back in the spring. So how do you know when seeds need to be planted in the fall in order to come back in the spring?
Well, that's really a little bit more technical because you have to kind of know what their native habitat is like. And in their natural habitat, when the seeds fall and they germinate depending on what kind of conditions they're used to. So if you bring me a sample or a picture, I can tell you what it is, and then we can find out for you what the best timing is for putting those seeds in.
All right. Thanks, Sharon.
And I thought the best, throw seeds in now, save some, throw them in the spring, see which ones come up.
Well, that's a good experiment. You can try that.
All right. Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, let's continue on here. Yvette, hi. What's going on with your lilac?
Hi, I just wondered what a good time to trim it back and the rhododendron.
Okay. Don't do any pruning on your lilacs and rhododendrons right now. Yeah, they are setting their flower buds for spring. So any pruning right now, you're going to lose those blooms. So no more pruning on those guys. Wait until they finish blooming in the spring, depending on what their bloom cycle is. The lilacs, of course, bloom early in the spring, and rhododendrons can bloom anywhere from early spring to early summer. So once they have finished blooming, that's when you want to do your pruning.
Okay, fantastic.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. All right, let's go to Mike. Hey, Mike, what's going on with the peonies?
Yeah, what do I need to know about transplanting peonies?
Okay, if you want to dig up and move a peony or peony, then you want to wait until that foliage dies down. Right now, the nutrients are all being pulled down from the foliage into that root system, building up energy for next spring. So you want to leave those on and wait until they have frozen and they start to die back. Then you cut that foliage clear to the ground, and you can dig that whole mass of root system up. At that point, you can divide it and plant it in different pieces if you want to, or just plant the whole thing. But the timing would be definitely during its dormant season.
Okay.
How deep do you plant them, or how, do you raise them up or lower them? What?
Well, typically, if your peony's been doing really good where it's at, don't plant it any deeper than the way it is right now. Typically, what I like to see is there's a little bit of new growth that's just barely underneath that soil surface, and I like to have that right at the edge of the soil.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. All right. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Sherry. Hi, Sherry. What's going on with your geraniums?
Well, hey, I seem to have some worms that have gotten into my geraniums, and what I do with them typically is I cut them way back, and then I winter them over in a greenhouse what I want to make sure is that I'm not taking any of the worms with them.
Right.
When I winter them over, I have put something called dipple dust or dipel dust. I'm not sure how you say it.
That's pretty good. It's actually called dipel.
Dipel, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, at least you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I put some of that, I've sprinkled some of that on it, but again, is there anything that I can do here to make sure that the worms that are on it do not overwinter in the warm tropics of a greenhouse and then come back and or infect other plants in the greenhouse?
Yeah. And well, that little worm that you're seeing there is called the Petunia and geranium budworm, and we just call it the budworm, but it affects geraniums and petunias almost exclusively. So if you have other geraniums or petunias that you're putting in the greenhouse, then it could spread. Other types of plants typically not going to be a big issue, but when you prune that back and get it ready to bring into the greenhouse, dust it good with that dipel dust. That's a good one. I actually like a spray called Spinosad a little bit better. Spinosad works slightly differently, but it's just as natural and safe to use. But if you've got the dipel, use that, and then bring it into the greenhouse, and it should be fine at that point.
Okay. Wonderful.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
All right. Let me see if I can squeeze in Joan before I take a break. Hi, Joan. What's going on with your mulberry tree?
Well, I believe that it just keeps getting the limbs really, really low, and they're just almost touching the ground. And I thought if I trimmed it all really short all the way around all the good limbs that I want to leave, when would I do that?
You could actually do that anytime now. So you can prune on that now and pull those branches out, or you can wait till the leaves fall off and do any pruning. It wouldn't matter either way.
It wouldn't matter, okay.
Yeah, I like to prune it early so I don't have to rake so much.
That sounds like a good idea. Okay,
but yeah, you'll be fine. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're
okay,
welcome.
thank you. All right, the phone number is 776-5368. Tim Elbert's in the house, taking all your questions, as you can tell. And if you're watching on TV or listening on the Dove Radio, give us a call, 776-5368. Somebody coming up in the next 15 minutes is going to win this beautiful bromeliad. And you can pick it up out at 4 Seat. Can you see it there? There, I got it in front of the camera. Isn't that pretty? Wow. And it's a good house plant, especially going into this fall season. So it could be you. If you give us a call, 776-5368. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Follow the conversation. This is Afternoon on the Dove. Follow the conversation. This is Afternoon on the Dove.
And today we're talking about gardening and the things going on in your yard and the outside, and maybe even some houseplants. We want to talk about that a little bit as well. Tim Elbert's with us. Tim heads up the Four Seasons Nursery out on the Highway 62, and they're open every day from 9 to 5. And coming up in the next few moments, when you call in, your name will go into the hat, and you could win this beautiful bromeliad. Isn't it gorgeous? And who knows? Could be you. Before we get into your house plant, well, wait a minute. I got two quick calls here. First one is a caller called in and said needs to replant her lawn. It looks okay, but wants to replant it. Is now a good time to do that?
Yes, now's a great time to do any renovations on lawns. So, yeah, have at it.
All right. Yeah. Let's go to Summer. Hi, Summer. Great name. Love it. What's going on with your grapes?
Thank you. I just have a question about a grapevine that we've had for several years. Every year it gets this, the leaves start to get kind of bubbly and they turn rust-colored and the whole thing's dying. And I don't know if it comes back every year. It seems like it just has some sort of a pest, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I looked online, but I can't find anything about it.
Well, it's actually called blister rust, and I'll let you guess why they call it that. And it is it's generally caused by our wonderful wet springs. Like this last couple of years, it's been pretty tough on the grapevines with that blister rust. The key for that now is as that drops its leaves, pull those leaves out. Don't compost them. Put them in a garbage bag and get rid of them. And then also in the spring, as that new growth starts to appear, you want to get a good dormant spray on those. And I believe for the grapes, it's the lime sulfur. and get a good spray on those just as they're starting to come out, and that should help to keep most of that down to a minimum.
Awesome. Is it safe to eat the grapes that are on that?
Absolutely. Won't hurt the grapes at all. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's not a pest. It's actually
just a disease. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's affecting the foliage. I mean, if you see rust on the grapes, probably not going to be fun to eat. But in most cases, it just affects the foliage.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Welcome.
I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Summer. All right, 776-5368. Any questions to Tim Elbert, Four Seasons Nursery, and get your name in the hat for this bromeliad drawing coming up here shortly. You're putting in a houseplant section?
Yeah, we have our houseplant section up and running now.
Wow.
So if you haven't been to the nursery in a few weeks, you might stop in and take a look. It's looking pretty cool, and it's not just your typical run-of-the-mill type houseplants. We've got some really cool stuff. Including a coffee tree,
Steve Johnson.
Yeah, there we go, and actually a natal mahogany that is absolutely beautiful, big beautiful tree in there, along with the fiddle leaf figs and different types of ferns. The staghorn fern, that's a beautiful little plant, but some really cool stuff, and we are also available for help with houseplants. If you have houseplants and you want to know anything about them, we've been reading up and sharpening our skills in that, so we'll be happy to help out.
All right, that's the Four Seasons Nursery out on Highway 62. You go out past Costco, get off on Vilas Road, go up half mile. You can't miss the nursery. It's off to the right there. Beautiful hanging baskets, still beautiful.
Yep, they're still there. Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous. Hi, Randy. What's going on with your grapevine?
Hey guys, Tim, we had last year it was having a little bit, but not much. But this year it's like over half of them. It's like they mildewed and died, and they're not being overwatered.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. What causes that?
Well, the neat thing about funguses is that they have some of the most amazing names, like mildew. And that's what happened. The last one, looked like rust. Well, it was rust. And now this one looks like mildew, and it is mildew.
Okay.
The mildew, again, was caused by probably our really wet spring, kind of a long, wet spring. And they just have a hard time recovering from that. And there's not a lot of products you can use on grapes to stop that. And so we start to get that die back, and there's not a whole lot you can do. Hopefully this fall, again, don't compost any of that stuff. That disease won't die over the wintertime. You want to get rid of it, and that will help so that you don't have that same problem next year.
How do I get rid of it?
Pardon?
How do I get rid of it?
Well, just all of the dead leaves and things, put them in a plastic bag, take them to the dump, get rid of those, and then do your dormant sprays. Definitely the lime sulfur, and for control of that. And I would do. I'll have to refresh my mind on that, but I know that it's a spring application. There may even be a winter application on grapes too, but I don't recall on that one.
Okay, well, I'll stop by and talk to you at the store then.
Hey, Randy?
Yeah?
Can you say bromeliad?
Bromeliad.
All right, auction it off. I'm holding it up.
Hey, look here, what are you going to give? 25, 50, 100, I'll sit down. 75, a bit of all 75. Who's nobody 75, a bit of all 75? Sold to the guy next to Tim for $75.
Okay, thank you, buddy.
See you guys.
All right, see you later, man. Oh, he's terrific. All right, hi, Cindy. We got another question about grapes. Hi, Cindy. What's going on with yours?
Hi. Excuse me. Hi. I can't top that. That was great. But my question is, okay, I have grapes too, but last year they produced like crazy, and this year I didn't see any fungus or anything on them this year that you've been talking about, but they just didn't produce this year. We didn't get any grapes, and is that also because of the wet spring, or is that something else going on?
No, that wouldn't be caused by the wet spring. That could be a couple of different things. Poor pollination could be part of it, and I don't know if you live in a higher elevation, but late frost can sometimes be a cause of that too.
We live in Grants Pass, so
Yeah, well, there's your problem. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Whoa! Hey, Cindy, Tim's home phone number is area code 541.
No, generally speaking with grapes, if they're not getting good pollination, that's the main problem for them not actually producing anything. So that would be kind of what I would think. You should be okay for next year. I would assume. So, are you pruning your grapes in the wintertime?
I am, yeah.
Good. Okay, that's important too.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. All right, 776-5368. We got a couple minutes left. You still have time to call in. 776-5368. Who knows? You could win this beautiful bromeliad from Four Seasons Nursery. We're going to give it away coming up, one of the house plants. Let me ask you this. About color, fall colors. What can we plant now?
Oh goodness, the asters are looking beautiful right now, and so that's a really nice one. Comes in pinks and purples and blues, beautiful colors on those. Also the mums with their fall colors of ambers and oranges and yellows, and there's even some pinks and purples and white, and they're just a great plant for this time of year. Pansies are going like crazy right now, and it's the perfect timing for that. You want to get those pansies in the ground, get them up and growing, and we've got some beautiful ones that we grew this year. So lots and lots of color on those. And
they'll take pretty cold weather, won't they?
They'll go all winter long. Yeah, they'll give you color all winter. So
all right.
And if you need a little color bowl or something put together for perhaps on your patio or as a gift, just stop in and let us know. We can grab some stuff, put it together, give you something that will go all winter long.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
That's at the Four Seasons Nursery out there on Highway 62. All right, Beverly. Hi. What's going on?
I'd like to know how to winter a begonia. I've got a beautiful begonia. And can I put it in the garage? Do they keep over the winter, or what should I do?
Well, begonias are a little tough to keep going over the winter. And if you wanted to try to keep the foliage and the flowers blooming through the winter, you would have to bring it in the house and put it in a bright window where it's getting some direct light. And you can actually get them to continue to produce flowers and foliage if you've got plenty of light. If you don't, then wait till the tops freeze down and then cut them off at ground level and bring the pot inside the garage and keep it in a cool, dark area in the garage. No extra water through the wintertime. They have what's called a corm. It's kind of like a bulb that they come up from, and you just kind of want to leave that alone. And then in the spring, when the weather warms back up, you can take it back outside and it will break through that dormancy and begin to grow again.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Beverly. Laura. Hi, Laura. What's going on with your garlic?
Well, I'm just thinking about planting my garlic in the same bed that I have my asparagus in, and wondered if they are good companions.
Actually, they make great winter companions. They have a lot to talk about and a lot in common, so they do really well.
Okay.
They do fine.
All right,
So-
and how deep do you plant the garlic to begin with? I think mine didn't get very big this year, so I wondered.
Well, we didn't have that, the kind of the season that would make garlic really big, so it probably wasn't a huge issue. But I like to put them in about 3 inches deep.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Yeah, and you've got lots of time. It's still a little bit early to be putting garlic in. So.
So you put it in November, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Well, Tim, we got all the names here.
All right.
And I'm going to let you reach in. Somebody's going to win this beautiful bromeliad, and I'll let you draw the name, then I have a question about it. So we'll see who's going to be the winner today of a bromeliad from Four Seasons Nursery out there on Highway 62.
And it was Sherry.
Sherry.
Yeah. She had the worms on her geraniums.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. You are the winner. I'm going to put that right there. Now, you say these come in other colors besides this beautiful orange.
Yeah, absolutely. At the nursery right now, in the houseplant section, we do have some yellow ones as well as the orange ones. They come in pinks and blues and all different styles, too. Some of them have stiffer foliage. Some of them have very fine foliage. You may have heard of tillandsias or air plants, and they are actually a type of bromeliad as well. And they come in just a wide array of all different colors and sizes, shapes. They're a pretty diverse type of plant. So.
All right. Well, Tim, thanks. And you've got plenty of fall colors out there, the mums.
Lots of
and the pansies.
Mums, pansies, kale, asters, lots of stuff out there. So there's some beautiful color.
All right. Do you have anything left over? For those who don't know, Tim was in charge of the landscaping project for the Extreme Home Makeover project here in Medford.
Yeah.
And how many plants did you end up putting out there?
Well, there's over 1,000. There was close to 1,100 plants.
Wow.
Over 50 varieties, yes.
And you had to get water to all of those? You had to irrigate all of those?
Yes, all of the, the landscapers out there did just an amazing job of getting the irrigation in before we got out there with the plants. So that was real helpful. And the volunteers, I mean, when we were putting those in, there'd be volunteers out there with shovels, and that ground was hard as a rock. And these guys are out there just digging their hearts out. So it was a great experience.
What an experience.
Yeah.
You got anything left at the store?
We had a few things, yeah.
All right. One other quick question. Now, did I hear you say now's the time to put bulbs in?
It's a little bit early yet. I'd like to say October, but you know what? That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
So we're right there. The weather. I like to see a first frost before I start to put bulbs in the ground, but who knows? That may be sooner than later.
All right. Four Seasons Nursery, 9 to 5, every day of the week out there on Highway 62. Get off on Vilas Road. You'll see the nursery about a half mile north there, and you can't miss it. Tim, thanks for being with us, and thanks for bringing in this beautiful bromeliad. And Sherry, congratulations, you're the winner. We'll see you on Monday.